Okay. Let's get started. So, have there been any Grape 1 sent back in?
I got one of the DRF stations sent to me, and I have not shipped it yet to Bob because I don't have his address. So it's a DRF system.
My address is in the email to you. I just sent it.
Oh, okay.
And I have received 4 of them.
So that's all we're expecting back are those 5. That's it. That'll be the end of it. And then we'll get them refurbished and redeployed.
We also have a Grape 2 coming back from South Carolina. And I've been messaging the guy for 4 weeks now, and he keeps saying he's going to ship it, he's going to ship it, he's going to ship it, and nothing's happened yet. So I finally sent him an email told him to ship it air so we don't destroy the disk drive, and I'll reimburse him for the shipping. So we'll see if that helps.
Oops.
And at the Hamsci forum and at Hamvention, I tried to reiterate to everyone that keep your grapes and DRFs and all that other stuff, keep it on, because we're looking for solar flares, geomagnetic storms, short-term variability. There's so much stuff we're continuing to study. And the way this works is your data, it may not seem like anyone's doing something, but people like Rachel here and myself and students and other people who want to, we go back in and we are like, oh, what happened at this particular event? And, we work on that. So it's very, very important.
Nathaniel, maybe I could show at some point in this, I could show a slide that shows exactly that, why you want it. We want to have continual recording. So Gwen produced a analysis report, a 1-pager that's really startling from data from grapes, including grapes.
That's wonderful. Whenever Rachel says that's good to show.
Sure, there's just a few more questions I want to ask in general.
There's been a lot of activity recently.
Yeah, I just want to ask John while I have him here. What's the best way for the New England Grape Group, mainly Bob, to access shipping funding for the grapes?
I don't have a good answer for that because I really don't have a mechanism to do it.
Okay, I think we should talk to Zorman about that.
Yeah, there's a reimbursement sequence that's really above my pay grade.
Well,
because it has to do with cash. So
I haven't shipped anything yet, so we don't need to worry about it at the moment.
I think the important thing is if you do ship anything, keep all of your receipts. That's the number one thing. And then as long as you have the receipts, you should be able to figure out who and how you're going to be reimbursed.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're thinking about the mechanism for that, because that can be expensive out of pocket. And then anything on the Grape 2 data?
yes, actually I have something I want to show.
Sure.
Okay, where is it there? Share screen 2. Now that Kung has come out of his captivity of finals, made some progress on the magnetometer plot. And this is from 24th of April. And this is the 3-axis plot along with the temperature deviation. You can see I only moved several hundred or tens of milledegrees. So that's looking pretty good. But in request for the independent plots, that's what the 3 X, Y, and Z plots look like for the same period.
That's great.
Nice clear colors. Kung did a fantastic job.
I think you can use the symbols BX, BY, BZ instead of MX.
Okay.
Because B is, typically in
a B field. That makes sense. That's an easy one to fix.
Yes, no, this is great, John.
But that's the magnetometer from, actually, it's from my backyard. Node 1. Okay. And then this is the, like I said, the composite one.
Right.
The composite and that one, they're completely different.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And the Y, which is the one you calibrate to 0, does move,
Yes.
which is like, really? Okay.
So another thing that you can add to it potentially is in the legend XYZ, you're subtracting a daily mean, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what the mean is.
What's
Yeah,
that?
that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, so you can put in parentheses after that, like mean equals whatever nanotesla, so that way we know what you subtracted from it.
Or maybe
Okay.
have a separate, oh yeah, however we work this out, but yeah, I'll leave that
Yeah.
up, make it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if you just put the little number, the mean in the legend, then you don't have to worry about plotting it on separate axes, and it
Right.
simplifies some of
Mhm.
the.
Sounds good.
But you're still able to kind of recover the basic information, and
Because
it
this
gives
is
you an
only
under-
an 80 nanotesla spread. So yeah, on a 40
Yeah.
microtesla, that would not be visible at all.
Right, exactly, and that's why just put the mean up there.
Put the mean in there, that'd be pretty easy to do since he has calculated it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Should
like yeah. Yeah, no, and then it's some of those variations that are only like 3 to 10 nanoteslas. Like I can see in the MX thing there, I can see like a sinusoidal variation that maybe has a 10 nanotesla peak to trough. That from say like 16 UTC to 19, 18, or 19 UTC. That sort of variation, I think, is the sort of thing that humans going to be very interested in.
oh wow.
Oh.
The
Okay.
smallest detail on the graph, that figures.
Yeah. So there right.
Mm,
So a very pop thing to study are in magnetometers, ground magnetometers, are something called ULF waves, magnetospheric ultra low frequency waves. And these typically have amplitudes of say maybe 3 to 20 nanoteslas, and they'll have periods on the order of millihertz. And you can relate those waves back to things that are happening in the magnetosphere.
Wow.
So
Now I did cover up my magnetometer top with a bunch of cement blocks, so it's not getting direct sunlight anymore. So the variation dropped probably by a factor of 10. And that was only a 0.2 of a degree before. So I'm now like 20 milledegrees. So
that's really good. They can draw. They're circling that. I think that's the sort of pulsation that humans going to be interested in.
So dig your hole in the shade.
Yes.
mm,
either that or
It's
plant
an
a tree and
advantage
wait
to
20
digging
years.
it.
I'll have to plant a tree and wait 20 years. Actually, I'm fighting more groundhogs than I am trees, but that's another.
mhm.
There
So,
was
would
a,
you? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Kong.
Would you like me to fix the Y axis as well? Right now is auto scale.
Right now they're auto scaled.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
think
they're all
you're going to want to leave it the way you have it, because if you have a bigger variation, it's going to go off chart.
well, we want to know what those numbers actually are though. So when you say it's auto scaled,
He's talking about the magnitude. Plus or minus 40 or plus or
Yeah.
minus 60.
But right now you're saying from the scale is from -60 to 60.
yeah. Yeah,
So
no,
it automate like the graph automatically fits that to whatever the data is. Should I fix
I
it to
think-
say 50, 100, or whatever?
Oh, you say in the vertical scale, you want to fix it rather
Yeah.
than make it be dynamic.
I think you can leave it like this for now, Kung.
I think
Okay.
I would think so too, because if you have a day that has a large perturbation, it's going to go off scale.
Yeah.
Everything else will shrink
Okay.
down, but you'll see it. And being that you're putting the mean in the like the upper right corner there with those, I think that would be fine.
Sounds good.
And I think this is also kind of the difference between like summary plots and you know, it
Because we go back here to this guy, I mean, that's
Yeah.
obviously it obliterates, but you can see the scales at 53,000 nanotesla.
yeah, I think the auto scaling is appropriate for right now, Kung.
All right, sounds good. I'll make
You
the
capture both of those, Rachel?
Give me just a second. I was hoping to.
These
Can
dogs
you-
are driving me crazy.
Kung, can you make the font size on these things bigger?
Okay, I can do that.
Because it's very hard to read, you know, even on the Zoom screen shares, and then God forbid you actually have to put this on a PowerPoint somewhere.
Sounds good. What's
Uh,
what's your like, what do you usually use for font size?
I'm looking at my original Grape data for the 24th of April. And it dipped down a bit, but it's nothing super extraordinary.
You've got a magnetometer, Joe?
No, this is the Grape WWV 10 megahertz.
Oh, okay, yeah, these are magnetometer magnitudes
Right.
here.
I was just trying to make any correlation between the radio and the.
I haven't seen any correlation.
Yeah.
Can I? So hold on one second. So to first answer Kung's question, I don't have a hard answer to that. I generally kind of eyeball the plots, and I try to make the numbers, you know, big enough, and you don't want them to overlap with each other, but you want them to be big enough that they're easy to read.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So play around with it a bit. And it also, the exact font size, whether it also depends on the figure size. So if you make the figure size bigger, then the font size will look smaller if you have a fixed font size. So there's some of those games too. So you'll have to play around with it. Rachel, can I
Yes.
make a suggestion for this group and for CEDAR?
Sure.
Okay, so now that we're looking at data, we had an absolutely fantastic geomagnetic storm occur about a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
yes.
think, yes, it was like absolutely beautiful. I have not had a chance to look at any of that data yet, but I imagine people here have. And I think if we do not show a nice case study in at least one of the CEDAR sessions, it's going to be a big missed opportunity for us.
Yep.
So what I propose is that we figure out how to get this group, between you, other people on this group, to look at the data that happened during the geomagnetic storm, that Gannon storm a couple of weeks ago, and let's try to get together a 5 to 10 minute talk that either you or I or Kung or someone can present at CEDAR.
Okay, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because this literally is the bleeding cutting edge of code that Kung got working last night.
Well, and
It's
that's
not been pushed out to the sites yet, and we're having some plotting problems. And I think I figured out this morning what was going on with.
we don't necessarily need to include the magnetometer data. It could just be the Grape HF data.
Okay,
Okay, so we should show
the plotting
we
program
should-
is for both plots.
Yes. So it can be Grape, it can be DRF stuff off of Bill Engelke's, but we should come up with some presentation from the Personal Space Weather Station Network that shows something.
Yeah.
And even if it's bleeding edge, code, this can be an opportunity for us to look at how that code is behaving on a particular day.
I think Kung has finally got the Band-Aid on his thumb, so it isn't bleeding anymore, but we're pretty close on releasing it.
I think Gwen has such a presentation. I was going to show it to you later in this.
Okay, and
I think-
that might be the starting point.
Yeah.
And I think we might be able to. I think we should put the nice thing about the CEDAR is not about finished results. CEDAR is a workshop. It's about showing things in progress and kind of the latest leading edge stuff. So it's totally okay for us to come up with oh yeah, the storm happened last week. Everyone at Cedar knows the storm happened last week, and everyone there is going to be like, oh look, here's the shiny thing that my instrument showed, and so that's totally appropriate. And so if if everyone here or if a number of people here each provide like one, someone provides a magnetometer plot, someone provides a Grape 1 plot, someone provides a Grape DRF plot, we can assemble that all into a single PowerPoint that we can deliver. And it may even,
Can I just ask though, as part of what this original line of inquiry is asking how close we are to uploading Grape 2 data somewhere in one at 10 gigabytes of data at a time.
May I share my screen showing the 10th and 11th original Grape plots?
Go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And
May
share.
May 10th and May 11th.
Yeah, during
Yeah,
that. This
Ay,
year.
caramba.
I mean, normally you just don't see things like the afternoon here and the morning on the what is that, the 11th.
Wow.
That was pretty wild swings. And of course the Eclipse version of the Grape was doing similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, that looks something like mine. I'm preparing such a presentation to add to this one I'm doing for our club next Thursday night, and I've just about got that section done.
I'm preparing for a presentation during the Flagstaff ham what do you call it, Swap Fest, Ham Fest this in July.
Where
Any suggestions would be very much appreciated.
where should we send these?
Hmm?
Where should we send anything we have from last week?
Would it be to Gary? Since he's in control of the website.
Well, I don't know if I'd be the best spot.
Okay. Sorry to volunteer you there.
what is this? Where to upload the data?
Yes,
Yeah, stuff from last week.
or any presentation, whatever we've got.
Okay, so so hold on, we're trying to upload 10 gigabytes of data, or where to put the
Yeah, this is more about the
This is the
geometric.
long-term solution.
Okay, so yes, all right. So for this sort of thing, I have a OneDrive folder already set up on my OneDrive for the Cedar workshop. I can create a shared folder that that's open and editable in there, that people can upload geomagnetic storm observations. They can upload either PowerPoints, they can upload Word documents, they can upload whatever, and then we can look at those. I can create that right now.
Yeah, I'm going to need
Yeah.
out directions on how to do that on the Grape too, because we still don't have plotting. We have a weird issue that I think we figured out, but we haven't fixed it yet.
Is
Okay.
there get data back for the Grape 2s before we move on to anything else? Have we started the Grape 2?
I've got one comment.
Sure.
A friend and I have been working on correlating the Grape 1 data with the GOES 18 satellite data, and he plotted the correlation, the overlay of both of those graphs on the 14th, and I could share that if
Ooh,
you'd like to see it. That could be interesting.
most definitely.
Let's see. Let me share.
Sounds like eye candy to me.
Hold on. Get this share thing working. So the black line is the GOES 18 long X-ray flux, showing the 3 flares on May 14th here, here, and here. And this is the X 8.8 flare that you see. And the red is the 15 megahertz 15 megahertz Grape 1 data from Bob Reif's station. And you can kind of see that the flare coincided with the drop in the signal strength on the grape data, and these two flares. This one really shows it dramatically here. This
Wow.
one didn't show it so much.
It did drop down though.
Drop
Yeah.
down the bomb, yeah.
So I could send that up to the site if anybody wants to see it.
Hopefully Rachel's captured it already. Hint, hint.
Yeah, we'll want a high quality version than the
Yeah.
minute.
So
That's cool, Bill.
it's John Frothingham did that. He's got 2 grape systems running.
John, out of curiosity, do we have a way to upload Grape 2 data yet from the eclipse or from any geomagnetic events?
No, that has not happened because we haven't figured out where to send it yet. We're still trying to figure that out.
So no, I think the thing to do is to have a system to convert it to digital RF and then send it up to Bill Engelke's server. Because Bill has the capacity for it, and that's the infrastructure, and that's where it's supposed to go.
That's a heavy lift on Kung because none of that code exists yet.
I don't think that's true. Kung has been working on it, and it's something we have to have anyway. And also, you know, there's already an example of how to do multi band Grape type data that's operational from the Whisper Daemon group. So like that just solves, that's really the thing to do. And it also handles compression. So it's actually going to make the data smaller. It will give a way to have the data all go up into one place that it's supposed to do. So I think that's the thing to do.
And correct me, Rachel, if I'm not mistaken, I think Grape 2s are already uploading the FLDigi data daily files to the WWVARC site.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yes, they are. I confirm that.
We don't have plots yet, but we've got the data going up.
That's true. I was hoping for a little bit more complete data, but out of curiosity, Kong, is this too much for you? What's
I think it's definitely doable.
It's
But how long, like when do you need it by?
I think
yes,
we need it. No, we need it. So Kung, so no, it's not too much for Kung. Kung is hired full time as a software engineer for this project for the next year. Can
So you got a year.
Can it be implemented by the end of the summer, Kung?
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Okay.
I was just
So-
worried that you might need it by like
Monday.
next week or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
holiday.
No, I would say by the end of the summer.
Yeah, that's
That sounds
actually
doable.
a lot more time than I would need, I think.
Okay. So I mean, Kung is hired specifically to do this kind of work. And this is the thing that's going to get all the data in the same place in the correct format. It's going to let us visualize it properly. I mean, this is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is
Yeah, it would be great.
representation
Oh, I'm sorry.
of the digital RF going to be sufficient for Rachel for your research? Can you extract stuff from that?
Probably. If not, I'll bug you for raw stuff.
Okay.
So the answer to that is it needs to be. So that's another task that Kung has to do, is we have to have a way of converting the digital RF data into the original Grape FLDigi format. So there has to be a utility for doing that. So that's part of this task as well.
Well, the Grape 2 already creates the FLDigi format.
Yes. So, but we want to be able to post-process the data because, like for instance, the Whisper Daemon systems are not creating the Grape FLDigi format, and we want to be able to convert that as well.
Okay.
So basically, the digital RF, if the digital RF data conversion is implemented correctly, you will lose zero information from the raw Grape 2 data. So again, that's if it is implemented correctly, which, you know, we'll have to test and we'll have to do. But all of you will lose absolutely nothing from the original raw data when it's implemented properly. And then that data can further be derived into the FL Digi format. So this digital RF full spectrum format will give us everything, and it will provide Rachel with the data she needs. And it will not only give her the Grape access to the Grape 2 data, but it'll also give her access to all of the Whisper Demon style data as well. So it's going to give her a tremendous amount of data to work with.
Now, is that also going to be incorporated into the Grape 1 DRF systems for the full spectrum instead of the 5 hertz swath we're taking now?
It can be. So I mean, the Grape 1 digital RF systems they're doing we can, if the systems are capable of saving more than 5 hertz, we can absolutely incorporate that into the Grape 1 DRF systems.
I guess that would be pushing back on
should be.
Bill Key.
What's that?
That's going to push back on the Bill Engelkey to get that to go.
Yeah, but we can come back to that.
Okay.
I think getting the let's just get this Grape 2 data upload problem taken care of, and then we can go back to the Grape 1 DRFs later.
Sure.
So yeah, I think the number one thing is, you know, working with getting the Grape 2 data converted to digital RF. And there's a couple of ways that can happen. I think it should happen on the Grape side itself, because if that does happen, it will compress the data significantly and make it much easier to transfer. However, if that's not feasible, it is also possible that something might be able worked out with Bill, where the raw data is sent directly to Bill and then Bill's servers handle the conversion. But we can let Kung try out a few different ways, and Kung can give us a recommendation as to which is the best way to go.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the Raspberry Pi 4 can pull it off, processor computation loading wise. It might be able to do it. I really don't know.
And I think that's where it's going to be a little bit of testing and a little bit of figuring out.
We can play with it and see what
this
work in progress.
Yeah, this isn't we're gonna get this done tomorrow thing. This is we gotta get it right.
Oh, by the way, Kung, you're gonna be able to have it ready by Monday morning?
Yeah.
But one of the nice things is, you know, we just submitted this new Daisy 2 grant, which of course hasn't been funded, but it at least does. Hopefully it will be funded. But if it is funded, it will commit Alabama to continuing to support and develop their data server system. And so I think as long as we are working with them to try and keep their funding going, I think this is a way to go, because we've already, you know, invested so much into this. And Bill, how many terabytes of data did they say we have access to?
Well, they haven't told me an upper limit, but when I told them I needed somewhere between 100 and 200 terabytes, they didn't bring it on.
Wow.
So
that's why
petabytes.
Plus, we've also gotten another grant from somewhere to put in this high performance computing center. And I've talked with them about this, and they said they'll work with us. So we may have access to large numbers of servers for running analyses. You know, right now running an analysis with that amount of data is, you know, it just takes forever. But with this high performance compute facility, which would be in place somewhere about halfway through the next grant, if we get the next grant. So we'll see. The joke is that we must have found out that Auburn had increased the size of their data center. So therefore we had to go out and get money to increase ours so that we can be 5 or 10% bigger than theirs and always have bragging rights.
It's okay with me.
But like a little friendly competition.
Yeah.
I do want to circle back a little bit because we're running out of time a little, and I believe Rob Robinette has been waiting to give an analysis report now that we're a little bit cleaned up on the grape stuff.
And before he does it, one more thing about Cedar. So there's the link where people can start putting their Cedar observations. I will not be on the call next week because I'm going to be at the Living with the Star meeting in Colorado. We should, so in addition to student posters, there are many different sessions where people can talk at Cedar. And so if you go to cedarscience.org, I can put the link in the chat here. And you go to Cedar Workshop 2024 Cedar Workshop. Here is the link to the Cedar Workshop, and then here is the agenda. Are they hyperlinked? They're not hyperlinked, but you can see the different. And where's the see all 2024 workshops? Each of these workshops here people can give talks, and the talks are typically anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So they're short talks. They're supposed to be kind of focused. I would really like to see more of our students be able to talk in some of these sessions. So I don't know if either Rachel or Kung, since you're students on this project, and you're both going to be there, maybe one of you wants to take on giving a talk about this Gannon storm. Another thing we can do is if let's say there's a lot of information or data to present, we can give talks in multiple sessions, but we don't want to give the same talk in all the sessions. So we might have one talk that focuses on the grape observations. Maybe another talk focuses on the magnetometer observations. Maybe another one talks about the whisper demon. And then we can have, maybe Rachel gives the grape talk, maybe Kung gives the magnetometer talk, maybe I give the whisper demon talk, and we can all kind of advertise our posters and the other talks to the other sessions. So you can say, yeah, here, this is from the Personal Space Weather Station. Here are these observations. Oh, but by the way, there's more. You can go hear Rachel talk about them on Thursday at this particular time. And this way we kind of get the word out without being repetitive.
What were the dates again of the storm? Was it May 10th and 11th?
11th was the day that it hit the earth. The big stuff hit the earth. I think it actually erupted on the 9th, didn't it?
The two grape plots I showed were from the 10th and the 11th UTC.
Yeah,
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
that's what I'm showing and what I'm preparing.
So we get the right dates.
Yeah, I will say that will depend a little bit if you want to aim for the one that's specifically called the Mother's Day storm. That's Friday morning, so students got our flight scheduled for us. So I'll have to check, but I think I might have to leave Friday morning.
Okay, and that's why we can kind of, so maybe next week while I'm gone, you can look at this agenda a little bit and kind of start to put it together, and then we can talk about it the week after. And as I said, we can, maybe I'll be there Friday morning, so maybe I can talk in the, I think I'll be there. I have to double check. I'm leaving Friday too. But we can split it up into different sessions. And I think there's one session that we should definitely have people talk in. And,
Is it Gareth Perry's?
Well, is that on the eclipse?
Yep.
Yeah, so we definitely want to be in the eclipse session. And we want to, I think, isn't there also one about kind of like a MacGyver sort of session?
That's usually AGU.
Yeah, but they wanted to do some sort of like a maker session too. Yeah, here it is. It's called Cedar Makers Club, Exchanging Designs, Code, Operating Procedures, and Hacks Useful for Cedar Experimental Science. So we should be all over that session. So yeah, maybe, Rachel, you might want to give a talk in there about Grape 1 and Grape 2. I can give a talk about maybe Whisper Demon, maybe Kung or Kyoman can give a talk about the magnetometers. We should have Alex Papadopoulos give a talk in this session. This is also a good session to talk about David Kasdan, your project with the receivers along the eclipse path. You know, this would be a good one to give a talk. Hello?
Yes, I agree. This would. Thank you.
Yeah. And so like you could come up with the talk, but you could give it to Rachel to deliver the slides or something. But that'd be a really good session for us to make a strong showing in. All right, Rachel, back to you, and I guess we should hear from Rob.
Yeah, I feel like we put that off long enough. Sorry, Rob.
Rob, are you there?
He's left.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
he's
I
back.
am here. I'm here. Sorry.
I think we're ready for you.
Okay, I just this is a one page, and this is just a work in progress from Gwen, but I think it's highly relevant. But your earlier discussion about the value of keeping the Grape ones and the rest of the network running continuously. Gwen noticed that during Hamvention last Friday, there was a spectacular ionospheric disturbance. This is not the major one from 2 weeks ago. This is one last Friday afternoon, 1900 UTC. And taking that measurements from the Grape network, the database, Gwen has been able to calculate the direction and velocity of a very large traveling, large scale TID that occurred. And using there's two of these are Whisper Demon Grape systems, Turn Island and Michael's up in North Dakota. And I don't know N5 BRG, but Joe, W7 ULX, two great ones. By looking at the arrival times along the midpoints of these waves, Gwen is able to calculate the two vectors from the two vectors, and then doing a vector summation, was able to calculate the direction and speed of a very large disturbance. I think this is the first time I've seen data like this observed and analyzed from the Grape database. So this is
beautiful.
It's an incredible event and a wonderful illustration of how to use the data that we've been gathering. So,
and Rachel, this might be a good way for us to kind of split up some of the observations too, because we don't all want to be like, we don't want to be stepping on each other's toes. So it's like, maybe I show some more of the like traveling ionospheric disturbance stuff. Maybe you show some of more of the eclipse stuff. There can certainly be some overlap, but that might be some way that we can show more of these things and work together.
Yeah. Gwen is now working with the Doppler shift data from the Whisper Demon measurements that occurred at the same time. And he anticipates that next week he'll have a second slide that shows the amplitude in addition to the of this wave, in addition to its direction and velocity.
Rob, can you pass on a request to Gwen?
I'm sorry, pass on what?
A request to Gwen.
Oh yes, I will. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here to go to Cedar, and Gwen is in Europe, so I don't know if we can actually present this. But certainly, I'm sure Gwen would be happy to have someone in the organization present this, and he'll add a few, probably a couple, at least a couple more slides to this presentation.
Yes, I did email Gwen and he did say, give me permission to present this. But I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you if you can you ask Gwen if you can also look at the auroral electrojet or supermag electrojet index before this event happens to see if there's some enhancement?
Okay. Let's see. I don't know that measurement, so yeah, I'm not sure Gwen does. So we might.
Here,
I'll see. I think you should go in direct contact with Gwen on this. I'll send him a note, tell him that I shared it with the group this morning, and you'd have some other questions or observations that you'd like him to incorporate.
That's wonderful. Yes, I can communicate with him what I because the idea here is we want to try to look for also what caused it.
Yes, absolutely. That's and of course, this is a handcrafted analysis, but
yes,
it will be there's a trove of data from the Whisper daemon and Whisper sonde measurements at the same time that could be used to dramatically expand and increase the resolution of the measurements. So, but that needs to be done by machines, not by humans. So that's that I think that would be kind of the message I would present is here's what a human can observe. Now let's see if we can't get there's many more transmitters and receivers out there that measured this, but we just don't have the time to look at each one individually. But an AI system certainly could. It's not that it could be trained to do this.
Oh, definitely.
That would be my message.
All sorts of automated approaches.
Yes, the automation of this it needs to be done, and
whether it's AI or a deterministic system.
Yeah.
In your free time.
Anyway, it seems to me that this class of measurements may be unique among the observations that are going on, and it certainly could it would be great to watch this wave travel farther south. It looks like it's going to the south from north to south.
Well, these sorts of analysis has certainly been done by other people. So if you look at there's something called the Tidbit system, the traveling atmospheric disturbance detector built in Texas. Jeff Crowley developed. It uses a very similar approach, and they have an automated technique for doing that. And if you look at what David McGaw, N1HAC, and his PI Jim LaBelle do with the AM broadcast systems, they do a very similar analysis. But I think this would be kind of the first time that this is being done with an open HF system that is where the data is really publicly available, and the Tidbit system that was run by one guy in a company, and it's not now if our network is able to produce these types of observations on a regular basis, and we are and we're an open system, I mean that's very, very attractive to a lot of people, I think. And so this would be another great great talk for the great to put in that Cedar Makers workshop, the Makers Club. I think the whole Whisper Demon system goes I can put together a really nice talk about that in Cedar Makers.
Well, so it's going to be somebody else. I'll be in another continent, so I can't do it.
Yeah. No, I'll be able to do that talk, and I can. It'll be good.
Okay.
But this is beautiful.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what I had to share. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the nicest thing I've seen done with this data so far.
Well, it's I'm sure there are other events. If it just this one was so that could be extracted from the Grape database.
So it's not over yet.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, and this was done visually, And it would be better to have it done by, you know, a computer algorithm looking at the actual database records rather than doing this visually. So it's
Well, you got to crawl before you walk. So
yeah. You
Yeah,
got to know what.
This is great. And Rachel, this is the sort of thing that if you wanted to figure out how to automate the network to detect, to make these sorts of measurements, there's a high value scientifically in being able, if we can come up with a method that automatically pulls this out of our data from all of the different systems in the network. Very high value here.
Yeah, might need that HPC cluster though.
So I got to get the data up to Bill, get all the data in one spot, and then work from there.
Well, this data, yeah, I mean, we can make it happen.
Yeah, and this data I think is already up on your server.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the magic sauce on this is figuring out exactly what you want to do and how to do it. I mean,
yeah,
the compute capability for this is not as much as what you might think. But anyway, we can make it happen. Just let's figure out how to do the analysis, and then we'll do some feasibility studies, and then we can figure out what we need to do. If we need to beef up a server, it's no problem. I used to think it was going to be a problem, but I learned the error of my ways after talking to our IT department.
So. You have to thank Auburn for that.
Yes. Or Eagle. All right, I'm going to have to leave. I've got to go somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll stop sharing. I've taken up enough of your time, but.
Thank you, everyone. I'll be on this afternoon.
Okay, bye.
7 3s.
Oh, Nathaniel.
Yes.
Did you get my message about your receive site? It's your home is doing pretty poorly.
Yeah, so we'll have to work on that. Maybe
okay.
We'll talk about more on the Monday night telecon.
Yeah, well, anyway, if you find a time, we could get together and walk through the do some diagnostics.
Okay.
Let me know.
All right.
Rachel, I have one thing.
We will get there.
Yeah, let me stop the recording.